Hi, I'm Vasti Jackson from Mississippi, USA, your guest anchor tonight. 10 years ago, a fruit seller in Tunisia set himself on fire in a desperate and fatal act of protest. Mohamed Bouazizi's actions tapped into frustration and fury at home and across the region, leading to what became known as the Arab Spring. Tunisia managed to transition into democracy, but many say things have become worse.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, that is Vasti Jackson, a multi-US Grammy nominated singer, guitarist. Thank you very much for making time to be with us, Vasti.
Thank you for having me.
So what brings you to Rwanda, and what has been your experience since you stepped to Africa?
Well, I came to Rwanda via invitation from Africa in Colors, Mr. Raoul Rugamba, and it's been just absolutely wonderful to be here and to discover the culture and the music and actually realize that there are so many things that we have in common in Mississippi with Rwandan culture and music, of course.
In terms of food as well?
Oh, yeah, of course, in terms of food. I love the beans, I love the chicken and the greens. And we say okra, but I think they call it gumbo here.
Gumbo.
Yeah, I love it.
What inspires your music?
Well, family. Absolutely. I come from a family of musicians from generations back. And I think, one of the most common threads for us as people is rhythm. And, of course, that starts with the rhythm of life, our heartbeat. And Africa being the cradle of civilization, that connection is just so strong there. So life inspires my music.
Life inspires your music. So we have several questions from social media. We have one from Sandrine. She says, in his exploration of traditional contemporary music in Rwanda, what has he learned so far? And how many artists have you met? And maybe is there collaboration there?
Well, yes, definitely collaborations. Once again, what I've learned is that the music is so similar to the traditional music of Mississippi. And one of the first things is melody. You know, this common melody is very common in Mississippi when we do what we call the blues. And so that, so that sound is, I find it in traditional Rwandan music and traditional Mississippi blues. And I've met, yes, great musicians here. Some traditional musicians. I've seen the traditional dance, and we're looking forward to reconnecting with some of those musicians. Israel, we have Yvonne, yes, and so we're just excited about the developments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your long-term project in the country?
Long-term is to start with collaboration, and then to expose more of the world to Rwandan music and culture. Outside of the continent, I would think that most people know about Rwanda in terms of the movie Hotel Rwanda, as we say in America, Rwanda. But there's so many wonderful things about the culture here and the people. So we want to share that, and we want to mix things up with the language, of course, Kinyarwanda, and English, and maybe even some other languages. We want to mix things up with contemporary sounds of America. Once again, Africa is the root, and all other popular music is the fruit of the African sound. And Rwanda plays a great role in that. And we just want the rest of the world to know about the culture and the wonderful young artists that are here in the country.
Flora Ketesi on Twitter, of course, she said, please ask him to sing us one song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about the culture and music, we improvise to survive.
Yes.
So let's just see what the ancestors tell us to
Absolutely.
do. Yeah? Well, I'm a Mississippi boy. Lord, I'm a long way from home. Said I'm a Mississippi boy. I'm a long, long way from home. Well, I'm here in Kigali. Woo, I believe this is where I belong. Well, the people so nice. They just as sweet as they can be. The people so nice. They just as sweet as they can be. Oh, Rwanda is the place I gotta be. I'm gonna play my guitar a little bit, y'all. Kigali, Rwanda is the place I gotta be. Thank you for welcoming me.
Wow. Awesome. So what are some of the aspects of blues? When you think about blues, the genre of music.
Well, triumph. Some people talk about the blues being woe, and there are components of that, of pain, agony, and suffering. But the main thing, what the blues shows, is Africans' ability to conquer, to not only survive, but thrive. So when we look at that from the standpoint of, let's say, colonization, transatlantic slave trade into South America and the Caribbean and North America, we like to say same boat, different port.
Yeah.
Because the essence of Africa in all of that culture, the way we dance, the way we cook, our rhythm, our melodies. So it's a music of triumph, of perseverance, of strength. Now, when we talk about it from an academic sense, relative to education, they're very, very strict components. The first one being the rhythm of the heart. And if we were talking about that academically, that would be the first and the third note of the triplet.
Yeah.
You see. So that's why people like the feel of the blues, and they get sort of drawn into the groove without actually consciously analyzing it, because it's tied to the rhythm of life, and that's your heartbeat. That's the first thing. So that's the similarity that runs through rock and roll, jazz, gospel, bebop, hip-hop. Yeah, so those are some of the most fundamentals. And then, of course, it's the melody. And that's that thing that we hear in all traditional Rwandan music.
Yes, absolutely. There's an argument, that rhythm and blues started in Africa. I'm sure the genre started in America, but the rhythm and blues, the melody behind it is African.
The root of that is Africa. There's no doubt about it. And when we talk about genres of music per se, if we say hip-hop or we say soul music, you hear elements of Africa in that music. And there are contemporary songs that we don't necessarily call blues, but they are blues in concept, whether it be Purple Rain, for example, is a blues song, but we don't think about it.
We don't think about it,
So the root of all American music is Africa, no doubt about it. And so not such a debate about that, because we can actually look at the years where things begin to be chronicled as genres and types and styles of music. Of course, blues in itself, we're speaking English. So, yeah.
So before I let you go, there's one question, of course, from Shema Agape on Twitter. Shema asked, what advice would you give to young musicians who are trying their way out?
Well, remember that the art of music has its own reward, and that's not money. art is a beautiful gift from God, and it should serve all humanity. And the creative side of our person, of our being, resides in the left side of our brain. But we also must learn the business of music. We must learn about commerce, and we must learn about intellectual properties and things of that nature, which is the right side of the brain. So we must keep the artistic area to the left, the business area, commerce to the right. Let them complement each other, but don't let them overlap and distort each other. Whether you make no money or a lot of money, do not let that affect the quality of your art. But please learn that if you're going to progress economically, you need to learn the business. And that is not the art. And if you're going to progress artistically, when you're doing that, free your mind from the business. So let's say dedicate time to art, dedicate time to business, and let them both complement each other.
The issue of copyright, or issue of copying types of melody. For example, you playing your type of music, blues, today. Tomorrow you hear someone else has almost the same melody, as you. How should people act on this?
Well, it's not so much an issue if it's not an exact thing for more than 4 musical bars, regardless of the time signature. If the melody is exactly the same for 4 bars, then it's an issue. But, in the diatonic Western music system, we only have 12 note names. You see? So there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear a lot of things that are similar, and that's not a problem. So when you say, oh, that sounds like this, okay, we're human. We walk on 2 legs. We laugh, we cry, and so when we put those types of things in songs, it's not that we are imitating other people, we are just expressing life.
Yeah.
But if it is exact for more than 4 measures, then you may question it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I let you go, maybe you'll give us a taste of music, maybe Purple Rain a bit?
Wow.
Any.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I'm in interesting key here. So let's do a little something like this.
Right.
Yeah. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, yeah. No, don't you be afraid. No, don't you be afraid. You know that I will stand by you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Vasti Jackson, for making time to be with us.
Yes.